You know, it's an interesting little dilemma one faces. One goes to graduate school as a big blue and then takes a first job at Ohio State. And my wife, who is a particularly passionate sports fan and was certainly paid attention to football in those years, had an even tougher time than I did at first. But pretty quickly you realize who's paying your salary, and that makes it easier to decide who to root for in the big game every year.
Even from an early age, John Krosnick was quite a fellow. Harvard undergrad, Michigan PhD, fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences, fellow of many other organizations, in fact. And for most of his teaching career, a Buckeye.
You know, we had spent 18 years at Ohio State. My daughter was born there, was raised there, and we really enjoyed it, and in all aspects of our lives. It was a really good place to be. And in 1996, we came out to California for my first and only sabbatical from Ohio State. And I came to the Center for Advanced Study at Stanford. We were only here a couple of months, and I realized, wow, this is terrific. Not that Ohio State was a bad place to have been, but boy, would it be neat to have another chapter of our lives be in California. But Stanford will never have us. And so, okay, we went back to Ohio. And 5 years later, the phone rang and the offer came. And but it's just a different place to live, and a new chapter to open up and new challenges that was really wonderful for us as a family. In a strange way, I thank AAPOR partly for the lifestyle that we live, that I wouldn't be here if I weren't inspired to have done the work that I did over the years. I mean, the reason that I had the opportunity and the invitation to come was because of that work. And the reason that the work is as it is because of the professional inspiration that I got from AAPOR more than any other organization, I think.
John, wife Kathy, and daughter Alexandra have logged some miles on family trips, but California's draw is pretty strong.
My wife and I have the goal of spending the rest of our lives here, partly because we've been trying to build this house now for 4 years, and when it's finally built, the idea of trying to move anywhere else is hard to imagine. But it's just a wonderful place to be professionally for us.
Kathy earned her doctorate in public health from Michigan, but that's not where she and John first crossed paths.
We actually lived across the hall from each other as college undergraduates. It took a couple years for the dating to start because she was dating somebody else at the time. But lucky for me, she got sick and he was nowhere to be found, and I had a TV to loan her. And so I got on her radar screen early on, and a couple years later we started a date, and the rest is history.
It follows then that daughter Alex would be a chip off the old block, or blocks in this case. She's finishing her bachelor's degree at Stanford and is eyeing a PhD in public health.
She actually is a little bit of a hybrid of both of us because her interest is in blending the study of the impact of climate change on the study of health. I think her interest in research and her interest in climate change certainly dovetail nicely with what I do, and her interest in public health comes from her mom, I think, in part.
John also was a hybrid, product of a doctor dad and musical mom.
Yep, I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and as a kid I was not particularly into school in elementary school or middle school, and my mother was very passionate about music and decided that one summer when I was young I really needed to go to northern Michigan to the National Music Camp at Interlochen, and so off I went for 8 weeks, and they had a program there called Talent Exploration, where little kids would play a different instrument every day and see if they could discover what they were good at. And I can remember, you know, struggling with various instruments, but boy, the drum, I could hit the drum. That was reasonably easy. And so I ended up choosing that direction and falling in love with drumming pretty quickly. I had played drum set at home since I was little, actually. At first I flipped over some plastic garbage cans and created a drum set at home and tapped on them. But eventually, you know, it became a real drum set, and then real bands and real training through high school. And I do actually think that I owe drumming a debt of thanks for getting me into Harvard, which is where I discovered public opinion research and went on from there. That having a real passion as a hobby was, I think, a door opener to college then as it is now. I mean, I didn't do it to get into college. I did it because I loved it, and I almost did it as a career choice. But I do think it opened up the opportunities for me to become the scientist that I became. But the truth of the matter is, you know, my wife will tell you I'm never going to retire from doing research. I love it too much. Now that this music thing is going well, I can't imagine stopping that either. So my guess is it's going to be a balance of the two. And, you know, the drumming is a physical thing. We'll see how long I can keep that up, because it's definitely a challenge. And, you know, it may be that I can type longer than I can drum.